What if I told you that everything from roasted marshmallows to industrial warfare, from fairy tales to factory towns, from candlelit dinners to internet flame wars, all of it happened because one day a tree got too hot and said, "You know what? Let's change everything." Fire didn't wait for permission. It didn't send a calendar invite. It just showed up, demanded fuel, and instantly became the hottest trend on the planet. Before the wheel, before agriculture, before YouTube, there was fire. And once we stopped running from it long enough to control it, we never looked back. Before we ignite this episode, hit like, subscribe, and maybe light a candle, safely. Because this story burns all the way down to your DNA. Fire existed before we did. Before humans figured out how to harness it, fire was already busy doing literally everything dramatic on Earth. Lava flows, molten tantrums from Earth's crust, lightning strikes, celestial tasers starting wildfires, meteor impacts, cosmic rage quits causing firestorms, spontaneous combustion of dry vegetation, climate chaos, roulette. There's evidence that massive wildfires swept across prehistoric Earth 400 to 20 million years ago, back when plants were just starting to crawl out of the swamps and say, "Photosynthesis is cool." And fire? Fire said, "Delicious." Let's clear something up. Fire is not a thing, it's a process. Specifically, a chemical reaction that's showing off. It's called combustion, when a material, like wood or fuel, rapidly reacts with oxygen and releases heat, light, gas, and a faint smell of danger. Scientifically, it's just oxidation turned up to 11. It produces excited gases, glowing particles, and infrared radiation, aka warmth. So that dancing flame? That's not a substance. It's energy manifesting as light and motion, a glowing tantrum of physics and chemistry. Fire only needs 3 things. Heat, enough to start the reaction. Fuel, something that burns oxygen, the enabler. This is known as the fire triangle. Remove any side and the whole thing collapses. Kind of like a group project when one person forgets the PowerPoint. Add too much of all 3, you get a wildfire, explosion, or someone yelling, "Who brought the lighter fluid?" Fire breathes, it grows, it moves, it eats, it even reproduces. Ever seen sparks start new fires? But no, it's not alive. It doesn't have cells, DNA, or the ability to file taxes. Still, many cultures, and some confused scientists, have called fire a quasi-living thing. Because honestly, fire behaves like the most chaotic organism in the room. It spreads like a virus, it consumes like a teenager, it dies when it runs out of snacks. Basically, if fire had a social media profile, it would post 3 times a minute and accidentally burn the comments section. Here's the weird twist. Some ecosystems need fire. Like, beg for it? In certain forests, regular fires are part of the natural life cycle. They clear dead brush, trigger seed release. Hello, pine cones. Recycle nutrients. Prevent megafires by managing fuel loads. Species like lodgepole pines, eucalyptus, and even some grasses evolved with fire in mind. Their seeds only open after a burn. It's like fire is the gardener, and the plants are just waiting for the pruning to begin. We tried suppressing fires for decades, and accidentally made things worse. Because fire isn't just destruction, it's also reset, rebirth, and occasionally beautifully rude landscaping. Fire reshapes entire regions. From the blackened soil of African savannas to the charred ridgelines of California, it leaves fingerprints of flame on the map. It enriches soil, opens space for new growth, triggers animal migrations, controls invasive species, resets succession. The plant version of restarting your Wi-Fi. And over millennia, landscapes didn't just survive fire, they adapted to it, which makes fire less of a villain and more like the chaotic, misunderstood artist of the biosphere. Let's fast forward to about 1.5 million years ago when one of our ancestors, Homo erectus, probably did the most human thing imaginable. They didn't invent fire. They found it after a lightning strike and said, "Hey, let's keep this." This wasn't about bravery, it was about convenience. Warmth. Light scaring predators, cooking questionable meat until it stopped being deadly. Early humans didn't make fire. They babysat it, carried embers around, kept it burning, whispered to it like it was a grumpy cat they didn't fully trust. Eventually, they learned to start it, likely by friction or stone-on-stone sparks, and the world changed forever. When we started cooking, something extraordinary happened. Cooking food, softened it, made it easier to chew, unlocked more calories. Killed bacteria, freed up time for things besides chewing pre-cooking. Our ancestors spent hours per day gnawing raw roots and animal bits. Post-cooking? Shorter digestion time, more energy, less time spent chewing like cows. This extra energy rewired our biology. Smaller digestive tract, bigger brain, more energy for socializing, tool-making, and existential dread. Fire didn't just feed us, it freed us. Before fire, nights were terrifying. After fire, they became social. Fire created circles, shared meals, warmth during cold nights, storytelling, the original human app. Around the fire, we gossiped, warned about predators, reenacted dramatic mammoth hunts, made up gods, myths, and reasons for things we didn't understand. The fire pit became theater school courtroom therapy. You could say the first memory storage device wasn't a hard drive. It was a pile of glowing logs. As human groups grew, fire followed. It fueled metalwork, copper, bronze, iron pottery, from dirt to durable dishes, agriculture, clearing fields, cooking harvests, building materials, bricks, lime, asphalt. With fire, we tamed time. Light extended productivity past sunset. Heat allowed cold regions to be colonized. Cooked meals became communal rituals. Fire wasn't just practical, it was symbolic. It stood for power, home, connection, safety. We even named eras after it: the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, all fire-powered. And that little campfire? It became the heart of the village. People noticed fire was both incredibly helpful and horrifyingly unpredictable. So naturally, we started making myths. Cultures across the globe deified fire. Prometheus, Greece, stole fire from the gods, got eternal liver therapy. Agni, India, sacred fire that carries prayers, Pele, Hawaii. Volcanic goddess with lava management issues, Raijin, Japan. Sometimes fire, sometimes thunder, always dramatic. Fire became the line between human and animal life and death, sacred and profane. You didn't just light a flame, you invited a force to dinner. Our speech still glows with metaphors from flame. Burning with passion. Fired from a job, trial by fire, lighting a fire under someone, going down in flames. We use fire to describe emotion, motivation, collapse, rebirth, conflict, and even romance, flame, spark, sizzle. It's the original emotional language engine, and it still works better than texting. Not everyone had equal access to fire. Historically, fire became a status symbol, a centralized resource, a controlled commodity. The hearth was a woman's domain in many ancient cultures, a priest's tool in temples, a king's symbol of divine order. Even today, think of how the kitchen is central to the home. Candles define ceremonies. Fireplaces anchor living rooms. Eternal flames mark memorials. Fire shapes architecture, ritual, class, and gender roles. It's the flickering power that says, someone is home, someone is in charge. For something with no arms or mouth, fire has quite the resume in mass destruction. Some of the largest extinction events in Earth's history were linked to fire. Not just heat, but what burned next. Example? The Permian-Triassic extinction, aka the Great Dying, 252 million years ago. Volcanoes released massive CO2, global temperatures soared. Wildfires raged, oxygen levels dropped, 90% of species tapped out. Even dinosaur doomsday had a fire subplot. When that famous asteroid hit 66 million years ago, it blasted debris sky high, set forests ablaze worldwide, smothered the skies. And, surprise, global firestorm. It wasn't just the rock. It was the burning aftermath that finished the job. Fire has always been nature's overreaction button. Once we got comfortable with fire, it took about 5 minutes for us to say, hey, what if we use this on each other? And thus began humanity's long, hot love affair with weaponized combustion. Flaming arrows, boiling oil, Greek fire, ancient napalm that burned on water gunpowder. Hello, fire-powered boomsticks. Flamethrowers, subtle as a punch to the sun. Napalm, a sticky reminder of our worst instincts. Incendiary bombs, cities burned in hours. We didn't just use fire for cooking, we used it for domination. If fire started as warmth and safety, we turned it into fear and erasure. It's the ultimate irony. The flame that brought people together around a hearth was also used to burn other hearths down. The Industrial Revolution was basically fire with a business degree. We discovered coal, compressed carbon sadness oil, liquefied dinosaur decisions, gas, explosive smells of progress. And we burned it, endlessly. Steam engines, power plants, factories, internal combustion engines, electric plants burning coal to make cleanish energy. We traded open flames for boilers, turbines, furnaces, but it was still fire doing the work. Only now we burned underground time capsules full of ancient organic matter. It worked, until we noticed the atmosphere wheezing. The more carbon we burned, the more greenhouse gases filled the air. That led to hotter temperatures, longer droughts, drier forests, more wildfires and megafires, which sound fake but are tragically real. We tried to control fire by putting it out, but without small natural fires, fuel built up. So when it did burn, it burned everything. And then, just to make things spicier, we built towns in flammable zones and called them suburbs. Now we're in a loop. Hotter planet. Bigger fires, more carbon, repeat until crispy. We didn't lose control of fire. We handed it a can of gasoline and said, "Don't do anything I wouldn't do." Because we can't live without fire, but also can't trust it. Modern society is obsessed with fireproofing. We build with flame retardant materials, smoke detectors, sprinklers, exit signs, fire drills, insurance policies. In a way, fire is still influencing our architecture, policy, fashion, hello fire-resistant suits, and urban planning. And deep down, we all know, if the smoke alarm starts screeching during dinner, fire is just saying, "I noticed you forgot about me." Fire's not just in our homes, it's in our language, music, and memes. She's on fire. Burnout. The spark of genius. Set the world ablaze. Going viral. Spreading like wildfire. Trial by fire. A stressful introduction. Flame wars. Comment section, 3 a.m. We describe ideas, emotions, ambition, even influence with fire. Because what is influence if not? Energy movement, passion, destruction, renewal. You don't go lukewarm viral. You catch fire. Let's be honest. The internet is fire, but faster and more prone to ruining Thanksgiving dinners. It spreads. Ideas, rumors, news. Misinformation, pet memes, emotional wildfires, going viral. Fire. Flaming someone in comments. Fire. Hot takes. Still fire. In fact, every digital platform is an attention bonfire. The algorithm just throws logs of outrage onto it for engagement. Fire taught us that attention spreads best when it's hot, fast, dangerous. Bright social media isn't new. It's just the campfire, digitized and global, minus the s'mores. Even in a world of LEDs, electric stoves, and ebooks, fire still shows up. We light candles on birthdays and for memory, fireworks for celebration, bonfires for community torches for protest lamps. In shrines and sacred spaces, fire remains symbolic. Life, spirit, love, anger, rebirth. In the Olympics, a flame connects ancient games to modern spectacle. In religion, fire burns in rituals across continents. In art, fire represents everything we can't quite explain. We don't need fire for survival the same way anymore, but we still need it for meaning. Fire is creator and destroyer, ally and enemy, comfort and fear, inspiration and punishment. We can't tame it, we can't avoid it. We can only collaborate, but carefully. And in that way, fire is the most human of all natural forces. Wild, powerful, temperamental, needy, but ultimately brilliant. Closing. The original influencer. Long before likes, views, or shares, fire got attention by simply existing. It fed us, it frightened us, it warmed us, it burned us, it changed us. Every civilization that ever rose had fire. Every tool that shaped the modern world, fueled by fire. It rewired our biology, inspired our stories, shaped our cities. And now, it powers your laptop, your microwave, and your latest binge watch session. Fire didn't trend, it defined the algorithm. So next time you light a match, roast a marshmallow, or watch a fireworks show, remember, you're not just playing with fire, you're interacting with the oldest influencer in history. And it doesn't care about your comments, it just wants oxygen and maybe a little respect.